Well, our big newsmaker on the program tonight, someone who's gone to court and spoken out very openly against VIP culture and Lal Battis in particular. I spoke earlier with the senior counsel and former Solicitor General Harish Salve and began, of course, by asking him on his petition on the misuse of state machinery in blocking roads to giving priority to VIPs and, of course, flashing red lights on cars as well. But even while, of course, the Prime Minister taking a key step in that direction, putting an end to Lal Battis with just very few exceptions, has been applauded. It's gone down very well. We've just seen what VIP arrogance has done again today. We've seen a BJP lawmaker in Uttar Pradesh slap a toll booth staff because the lawmaker was made to wait for a few seconds more, for a few minutes more than they thought was required or adequate. At the same time, that Shiv Sena MP who continues, of course, to show no remorse at all. So many are asking, Mr. Salve, what really has changed on the ground?
Well, the remarkable thing is this decision has been taken by the government, by the political class. And some things which this government has been doing, this is a continuing trend. Prime Minister Modi suddenly showed all his cabinet colleagues and those who crave the Lal Batti that he could spend an hour in a car driving to the airport to meet the Bangladesh Prime Minister. He is busier than anybody else, he has more work than anybody else, and his security concerns are highest. If he can do it, so can everybody else. So this is called teaching by example. And he has done that. We have seen the robust way in which the government supported Air India in standing up to the errant MP. So this has been a continuing trend. I consider this also as a third very important, very symbolic step. And the principle which I had fought for in the Supreme Court last time was that these now must be symbols of the Republic of India, and the Republic of India is symbolized by its magnificent institutions, the Parliament, the judiciary, and the head of the entire system, the President of India. And that's why there are the four exceptions. You have the President, you have the Chief Justice, you have the Speaker, and that's how it is now going to work. So it's such a wonderful thing they have done. Now, will habits change? Habits will take long to change. And we must understand why, and it's partly our fault. We have voted in a class of people who invested in politics with the idea of getting a dividend, and the dividend is the trappings of power. So they are not going to give up these trappings of power. You saw the tone and tenor in which Mr. Gaikwad talked. He is a member of parliament, he doesn't know the difference between perquisites and privileges. That's his level of awareness of the Constitution and his rights. So this is the whole idea. A privilege of a member of parliament is actually a privilege given to you and me, that a person we send to parliament should be allowed to do his duty as our representatives, free from any kind of pressure. That privilege is our privilege. He confuses a perquisite of traveling free with a privilege. It's a mindset. So this mindset will take time to change, and I'm happy that the change has come at the top and it has come at the political level. I salute the government for what they have done. How do we enforce this is the other question. Believe me, challans are not going to enforce this. Of course, police will challenge a few of them, but then some of them will threaten the police, some of them will misbehave. The way to deal with them is anybody who sees a Lal Batti on somebody other than the four who have been allowed to use, take a photograph, show it on your channels, name and shame. Ultimately, people must realize that there is a dear political price to pay if you hang on to this illegitimately. And I think that is the change must come from each one of us. We must reject people who are not comfortable with the idea of India being a republic.
Right, that's a good point. Name and shame, people not getting the difference between perquisite and privilege, the trappings of power. But what next, Mr. Salve? All those who say that this should now be extended to, I don't know, VIP gates, VIP security, VIP lounges. We've got just so many trappings of this VVIP, VIP, and so on and so forth.
Of course, each one of them will go. See, VIP, what is the VIP lounge? A VIP lounge is there for any frequent flyer. Those are all commercial considerations. If you want to have a lounge in which a class of people go and sit, but those should be commercial lounges. I have not seen a lounge for members of parliament in any, or for VIPs as we call them, in any other airport of the world. I mean, I don't know, you may have seen them, except for ministers, etc., who are traveling, who are entitled to a degree of protocol. I have not seen any such thing. I've seen the British ministers travel by ordinary aircraft, would travel from the normal place in UK. So I don't know where all this protocol business must now sort of evaporate here. Jumping queues, getting VIP lounges and all. I mean, if a private airline has a frequent flyer who gives them a lot of business, and as a reward for that business they want to give him comfort, that's a commercial transaction.
So only if there are commercial interests. The widespread use of red beacons on government vehicles is reflective of the mentality of those who served the British government in India and treated the natives as slaves. That's what the court had said in your case. But those who are asking, does this move, banning lal battis, really blur the lines between the haves and the have-nots? Those differences really stay. But the optics, of course, very right.
You see, first of all, we have to change the mindset, and the important mindset change. Our first president, Babu Rajendra Prasad, spoke about this. He says those who were in Britain called public servants, for us were rulers. The British civil servants, the ICS, the police, they used to rule us. We were the natives. We were ruled by them. Today's civil servant is meant to serve us. That's why he is called a public servant. So that is the mindset change has to come. Since those people were symbols of the British crown and we were the natives, and we had to be overawed and duly impressed by the might and authority of the British Empire, they were allowed all these trappings, they would jump everywhere. Natives were second-class citizens. Now we are all equals. There is no, a doctor or an emergency is as much rushed and entitled to privilege in traffic as a lawyer who's in a hurry to catch a case, as is a civil servant trying to catch a meeting. We are all equal. If we are stuck in traffic, we are stuck in traffic. I mean, leave 2 hours early. If it applies to a lawyer, if it applies to a doctor, if it applies to a student, it applies to a minister. So that's the mindset. We are all equal. And this is the bedrock of a republic. Once this sense of equality comes in, then this have and have not, economic have and have not will always be there. It's there in every society. That's one of the imperfections of our system. But this empowerment must come, that everybody must feel part of the system. You have the same right to the system as a man you send to office.
Absolutely. We are all equal. Prime Minister said that everyone's a VIP there. Harish Salve, thanks so much for your time.